Hi, Filter here. I'd like to thank my subscribers for subscribing to my channel. Thank you. I hope I can give you any more information or my points of view that you might enjoy. But I'd like to talk to you about a television show that's been on for the past couple of years, and that is Supergirl. This is a show that had so much potential, but keeps sinking to that depth of harsh left wing politics and feminism. Right off the bat, between this and a show like Agent Carter, is this weird notion that women can do all. Biology tells us otherwise, but that's another story. But in the case of Supergirl, here's a character who's supposed to be as strong as Superman or close to it, and she kind of almost comes across as a Mary Sue. Not completely, but she's getting there. The relationships in the show seem to be a mess, but the politics of the show seem to be overt, completely overt. Case in point. First episode, Kat Grant's introduced in the very first episode, and then she gives off her platitude about something about Bill O'Reilly. It's not necessary. It's just one of these throwaway lines. Okay, I get it. She's in charge of a company, but do you have to go off and do that? Well, they do it. Another case in point, a character in Superman by the name of Dirk Armstrong. He's supposed to be a send up of like Rush Limbaugh or something. And what happens is he he is described by Cat Grant as the epitome of white male privilege. This line has no place in this show. It had no place. Now, granted, I'm not a white guy, but I am a man. And the fact that you're going to just dismiss somebody because maybe he's a little bit more ambitious, and then the portrayal of the guy makes it even worse. I mean, couldn't they have said, "Oh well, he's the epitome of that high school overachiever that you knew back in the day"? They could have done that, and it would have been great. It would have been funny, and people would have said, "Oh, okay, very funny." But no, they had to toss that in. Then you have the adopted sister and her sexuality, as for some weird reason, it just literally comes out of nowhere. I have no problem with the character of Maggie Sawyer, but really, the whole idea of where she hooks up with the sister, the adopted sister, it literally comes out of nowhere. If it was established that that the stepsister or the adopted sister was gay, then you could say, okay, no problem. And then when you meet Maggie Sawyer, you say, oh, okay, dig it. This show pretty much passes the Bechdel test. Let's face facts, with flying colors. Then it gets even worse throughout the seasons. We are obviously introduced to the President of the United States, played by the ever delightful and still milfy Linda Carter. And you could tell this script was written before the election, so they had no idea Trump would get there. So that makes it kind of funny. It's like egg on their face. Then another thing where they introduced Snapper Carr. Snapper Carr seemed like a very, very good, I wouldn't say foil, but a sort of moral rock to kind of remind Kara that, hey, there's some things in this world you just can't solve with a punch. Which seems to be another interesting thing in this show. Every problem is solved with a punch. With this woman, she's not using her brain; she's punching her way. At least in Superman would kind of figure out something before he does the punching, you know. And of course, they Snapper Carr has an interesting line in which he says one wrong thing in a press, and before you know it, you got a dictator in the White House or something. I'm like, fake news, and you have a dictator in the White House. That was the line. And I thought to myself, did they really have to go there? Even then, and there's some other episodes which they kind of alluded to a sort of idea, and it kind of goes with when Supergirl had to go to some planet where the people were being transported through some Stargate to some other world to be used as slave labor, and then she thwarts them, and the head guy scientist calls her You are a nasty woman. Sounds familiar? And then it was used again, the term nasty woman, by Mr. Mxyzptlk. Now, here's the thing. It's so funny when Superman gets the best of Mxyzptlk. He's like, okay, you got me, all right. Yeah, yeah. He doesn't go, oh, you're a nasty man. No, he just says, okay, but in this, you're a nasty woman. Oh, okay, I get it. The feminism is more like written by somebody who works at Everyday Feminism. That's how the scripts come out, or Tumblr. That's how bad these shows have become. And I mean, I'm willing to overlook a couple of things in the show. You know, she's been on Earth for X amount of years, and she could probably beat a couple of Kryptonians who've only been on Earth for a couple of months. Okay, I can accept that. You know, because the solar battery part of their body and stuff like that. And but then again, Superman's been on Earth longer, and I get the funny feeling she's going to probably be able to beat him at some point. Well, anyways, they have all this, and yet again, they're losing. They're losing an audience, the male audience. You see, guys don't have a problem with female superheroes. They don't. We love female superheroes. We love to see them. Look at the show Birds of Prey. Great show. Should have had a couple of seasons to it. If you ever watch it, it's great. You got Dina Meyer as Barbara Gordon, Batgirl. I can't remember the other two girls, but you have a Mia Sara as Harley Quinn. Oh my goodness, that woman pulls it off. She's it's like if the Joker was given a vagina, and it made a lot of sense. There was no feminist bullshit tossed into the story. It was heroics. And this is why a good amount of shows lately have been failing featuring female leads, especially Agent Carter. Agent Carter, right off the bat, within the first 5 minutes of the first episode, they're called to the meetings to discuss Howard Stark and whether he's a traitor. As she's heading off to the office, the oafish agent that works for the early version of S.H.I.E.L.D. turns to her and says, hey, Dollface, get me a cup of coffee with a couple of creams and sugars. Treating this woman like a gal Friday. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. This this woman traded lead with the Nazis, was there at the formation of the beginning of the Captain America project, and you're going to treat her like that? And there are many scholars out there and historians that could tell you the agents from back in the day, from World War II, when World War II was over, they weren't treated like Gal Fridays. It was just so frustrating to watch that she has to go through all these things, and it's like, oh, give me a break, let it go. Women actually had more agency back then, as opposed to today. What I mean by agency, they had the agency to basically take responsibility, okay? But, how can I put this? Let me just wrap this up. Oh, something's going on with my damn cable here. Let me wrap this up. The bottom line is, we can have strong female characters without the Tumblr feminism. Well, rate this video if you like it. If you have a comment, leave comments below. Until then, filter out.